And that means you just have to unmute yourself if you want to have a conversation with me. We're all going to come into a standing position and find our way onto our feet. So as we stand, we begin to distribute the weight. You know, part of, and a big part of what we should be doing is noticing how we feel, questioning ourselves. So shifting from side to side, notice, you stub a toe, how's your knee, hip, everything up to your head, and then equally position that way, and just begin a little bit of sway, twist, turn. Now, let your arms hang limp, but only twist and turn the amount that seems right, which may increase as you begin to react, respond to this. Your joints begin to loosen because the fluid inside of them becomes more oily. That's what warming up a joint does. It makes the joint have a oilier substance instead of more of a jello-like substance inside of it. And the more we move, the more our muscles also loosen. And so we're just starting something, we're checking out if something's getting worse in its sensation as we do this, and we're going to pay a lot of attention on how we manage that area throughout the class. Now let the arms go up and down, and this is a new direction, different plane of the body, different association of muscles. And the more we push downward, the more we have to keep the weight back on our heels. So you may create that as your arms come down, you just sort of shove the weight back to the heels. And that's great. And these things help to loosen us up and make us more ready. Soften those knees. Now rock your weight back, take it back far enough that you're losing your balance. Go toward your toes, take it far enough that you're losing your balance. And so one of the things that we sometimes do is we just don't take it very far. We don't actually trigger loss of balance. We go, yeah, I'm doing it. And that's not really as beneficial as actually losing the balance and having to recover. And what we're creating for ourselves is a staged process. We bend our knees, we crouch in our recovery. And put one foot forward. That's what makes this an exercise, is that we're deliberately crouching and we have time. We've anticipated it's going to happen. So we're going to go into a crouch. Other foot forward. And anything we do, our body and our brain make sure that we can do better. Refines us. It makes it that this is something that we get better with, which is great because, you know, losing your balance, you want to be good at recovering. Okay, standing and swaying as much weight as you can to the inner edge to keep it comfortable, and then as much weight as you can to the outer edge of the foot and keep it comfortable. We're going to go back and forth with this, and you'll notice that there's a difference left or right. You'll notice that, you know, going to the inside edge is harder to lift the outside than going to the outside edge. You can lift the inside more easily. And now that we've loosened that up, stand so that you're feeling the ball of the foot, even weight from big to little toe, and act like you're trying to separate the floor apart between your heels so that your heels push away from each other. Sustain that arch and lift your toes and pull your fingers back. Now squeeze your toes down and grip your fingers into the top part of the palm. And let's continue our cross train for hands and feet so that we do the unusual things. We create the movements that we don't normally create. Now spread apart fingers and toes wide and let them come together narrow. So we go wide and tight. And again, the more we do these things, the more easily we'll be able to. Big toes towards each other. Sometimes it's very hard to get little muscles to respond when we don't use them all the time. Big toes down, heels push out, small toes up and down. Small toes down, heels push out, big toe up and down. And then the big toes down, the little toes down, and the three center toes are coming up and down. And that's great. We've activated arch. Let's stay with that arch. Hips are back. Lift up through the spine, through the top of the head. And inhale, lift the arms in. Exhale, spread the arms out and bring them down. But now, inhale, lift the arms out and up. And exhale, bring them down the center. We'll keep changing the pattern because that changes the reactions of muscles to each other. There's our inhale, followed by our exhale. And then we'll take it the other way. Let's do the patterns again. Breathe in. And out. And in. Deep breath. And again. Keep a deep rhythmic breath and lift the arms. Lift up the center of the spine, the side of the chest. Stretch that arm and inhale. Exhale, let it go. And lift the center of the side. Stretch the arm, inhale. Exhale, release. Again. Center lift, side lift, reach, inhale. And exhale. Lift the center, lift the side, stretch up and inhale. Now exhale and take the hands and interlock them. Press out to the palm, the hand is stretching. Bring the arms and the chest up. And begin a spiral from legs as you lift all the way through the arms. Inhale. Exhale, release it. And uplift. And then spiral the other way, all the way up and inhale. And then exhale, release it. And then uplift. Now elongate, lifting constantly, stretching, and then arch gently. Inhale. Exhale, release the arms down. Lift the chest, squeeze together the shoulder blades, reaching back, exhale. Arms go forward, broad shoulder blades deep, inhale. Reach and squeeze back and exhale. Shoulders forward, inhale. And then reach and squeeze back the exhale. And just release those arms apart. Now stand so that you are about mat distance wide and spin and notice the changes you've already made. But when surface muscles let go, deeper muscles begin to react. Let's make them contract. Let's uplift the chest. Turn the shoulders, but don't move the hips. Feel that more deeply in the body. Okay? And uplift and turn the hips, don't move the shoulders. Good. Now let's engage to stay stable. Press the feet and knees outward. That'll keep our pelvis in the center. As you lift the chest, lower the shoulders down and push your hand into one side, tilting that way. Lift the other side, the ribs and the arm, the chest upward, legs active, inhale. Exhale, lift yourself up and out. And then press out the legs again. Chest up and shoulders down, belly pulls inward. Push into your leg, tilt the other way and lift ribs and arm and chest up. Inhale. Exhale, lift up and come out. Now make a wide stance. Bend the knees a little and lift up so the heel of the palm comes against the crease of leg to pelvis tilt. Now on one side, as we push, our elbow goes more straight, and we do that just enough to feel a stretch. Maybe the elbow doesn't completely straighten. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, elbow bends, and now the other side. We begin to push, getting the arm to go more straight. We take a deep inhale. Exhale, that elbow bends, and now both sides. Create the pressure, both arms straightening to elongate the spine. Deep inhale. Exhaling, let the elbows bend, let the knees bend. Bring the hands all the way down. Shifting the weight to one side. Stretching the inner thigh, breathing deeply. And then go the other way. Let that leg straighten, breathing deeply. We're going to go back to the first side. And after you straighten the leg, adjusting it down or up, notice the change you're making in the stretch. Breathe deep. Let's go over to the other side. Straighten the leg and adjust the hips down or up. Notice the stretch. Good. Now coming to center, lift the hips and let the head and the arms completely hang down so that you're letting the body decompress the spine. The bend of the knees is enough to keep the stretch of the back of the legs from being too strong. And place one hand down. You're going to bring the other shoulder up toward the back for a twist. Press out with the feet, chest away from the hips, and stretch your arm upward. Inhale. Exhale. We'll bring the other hand down, bring the other shoulder up. Press out the feet, chest away from the hips, arms stretching upward. Inhale. Exhale, we'll come to center. We bend the knees. We put the hands up on the knees, and we lift the chest up, and the arms are straight. Reach across, soft and gentle stretch. Breathe, and just notice lots of area of the stretch. And then we'll come across the other direction, just noticing all the areas that are stretching. We'll take it to the first side again, and we'll inhale so much those ribs open up nice and wide. And then exhale, center, reach across the other way, open the ribs nice and wide. Exhale, and we'll come to center. We'll bend our knees and we'll come up. Okay, so we created a process of warming up, deliberately doing things, gradually increasing intensity. And now we're ready for a slightly greater increase of intensity in our warm-up that is the sun salute. So you'll come into the front edge of your mat to stand where your feet are about hip distance wide. And remember, you're going to adjust into your own personal needs of intensity and distribute the action where you need it. Stand with that activated arch, your hips are back. Your spine is lifting up to the top of the head. Your chest stays up, the shoulders adjust a little bit down. And now, as we breathe in, lift the arms. Beginning and exhale, grab your elbows and bend the knees, bring your chest down. And elbows could stay up on the knees, or we let them come forward. We lift the hips to make a mild stretch in the back legs. We let the head and arms hang as completely down as we can. Swaying a little side to side can change the stretch you're feeling. Deep breathing. And on the next exhale, placing the hands, we'll step our right foot back into lunge. Left knee stays over the ankle. We're going to lift up the right hip, balance across the ball of the foot. Our heel reaches back as our chest and shoulders pull forward and lengthen the spine. We can use a light pressure on the hands, or if we're looking for more intensity, one or both arms go forward. Take a deep breath. And then on the exhale, flatten hands evenly and step back into a plank. Tightening the abdomen, chest reaching forward, hips and heels stretching back. Deep inhale. And exhaling softly, lower down the knees. Bring your hips back toward the heels and let the elbows and the forehead come all the way down. Breathe into your belly and sway a little bit to the left and the right so your shoulders are stretching just a little bit more. Keep that breathing deep. And then we're going to come forward until the shoulders are over the elbows, and we can sway our hips side to side. Or for a little more intensity, knees together, pivot the feet from side to side. Now let the top of the foot go flat, press your hands evenly, and slowly come forward to upward dog. Shoulders travel forward to the wrists, collarbones lift as we sink our hips. Press the hands, the top of the foot evenly, lift the collarbones, inhale. And then exhale, moving back to downward dog, lifting hips and pushing the chest toward those bending knees. Flatten evenly the palm and let the thumbs pull toward the feet. Get your balance against the ball of the foot and lift up your heels. Let the knees bend more and lift the hips up higher. And keep pushing your chest toward your thighs and let those shoulders travel toward the hips a little bit to ease tension in the neck. Deep breath. Paddle those heels down and up if you want to experience a little more release in the back of the leg. Now on the next exhale, we're going to step our right foot forward into lunge, ankle under the knee. And then we lift up the left hip, balance on the ball of the foot, heel reaches back, chest and shoulders pull forward, and right foot holds its arch. Light pressure to the hands, or one or both arms forward. Deep inhale. And then on exhale, we step forward, feet hip distance. Press down into the heels, bend those knees with your belly tight. Inhale up from the squat. And exhale. Second round, inhale. Exhale and grab the elbows, bend the knees, chest coming down. Place the elbows deliberately on your shins and pull your shoulders toward your hips so that your neck relaxes. As you're doing that, press into the legs, move your ribs a bit toward your knees to lengthen the spine. Breathe deeply into the upper back and press your feet and knees away from each other. Deep inhale. On this exhale, placing hands, we'll step our left foot back. Now this lunge we're creating is going to become a side angle. We'll bring the left heel down, lift the left shoulder up, and bring the right elbow up onto our knee. We want that left shoulder above the right shoulder as much as we can. We want our hips in the center, and the right knee moving toward the right edge of the mat to engage that outer right hip. Lengthen right side by moving the shoulder away from the hip. And if you want, you can bring your left arm behind the back and help you lift that shoulder even higher. Make sure you have the active arch in both feet. And for greater intensity, if you like it, take that right arm forward. Deep inhale. And then on the exhale, hands flattened. We'll step back in plank. Abs pulling in tight as we lengthen the chest forward, the hips and heels back. Inhale. Exhaling softly, lower down the knees, hips back toward heels and the elbows, and the forehead all the way down. Walk the right hand forward, place the palm flat and sway off to the right. Feeling stretch in the ribs. Breathing to that right side, which will increase the stretch. Every breath, focus. Expand the right side, the lungs, the ribs. Work that area. Breathing deeply. And then exhale, chest to center, hands even. Now the left side. Walk it forward. Flatten the palm evenly. Sway off to the left until you're feeling stretch. And then breathe to the left. Stretch it, move it. Fill that section of lung structure. Breathing deeply. And then exhale, chest to center, hands even. Now slowly we come forward to upward dog. Shoulders travel forward to the wrists. The collarbones lift as we sink down the hips. Hand and top and foot pressure even. Lift the collarbones and inhale. And then exhale back to downward dog. Lift hips and push the chest toward the thighs. With the palms evenly flat, thumbs pulling toward the feet, head between the arms. Get the balance on the ball of the foot and lift your heels. And bend your knees and lift your hips. Pushing the chest toward your thighs. Now engage those shoulders toward the hips. That's your lat muscles. And then push your hands and elbows toward each other. That's your pectorals. And widen between the shoulder blades there, serratus anterior. Keep lifting the hips, chest pushing toward the thighs, heels paddling down and up. Breathe in nice and deep. And on your exhale, step your left foot forward into lunge. Remember, you can bring your knee down to adjust the forward leg. Now side angle, right heel down, right shoulder up, left elbow up on the knee. Hips in the center, right shoulder above left shoulder, left knee toward the left edge. Lengthening left shoulder away from the hip. Active arches both feet. And if we want, right arm can go behind the back. And if we want, left arm can go forward. Take a deep breath. We exhale and step forward, feet hip distance. Press down into the heels and bend the knees with belly tight. Inhale up from the squat. And exhale. And one more round. Inhale up. Exhale, grab elbows, bend the knees. Bring the chest and shoulders down. Elbows can stay up on the legs or hang down. Bend the knees. Get that upper body that's really comfortable because we're focusing on the legs. Create the active arch. The balance across the ball of the foot. Lift the toes. Press the feet, the knees, the heels away from each other. Engage this outer hip section. Let the head and the arms hang as much as you're comfortable with. Breathing deeply so we can fully decompress the back all the way from the neck to the tailbone. Take another deep inhale. Exhale, relax your legs and place your hands. Step right foot back and lunge. Bring right knee all the way down. Let the top of the right foot rest. We're going to use this low lunge for a twist. So even pressure to the right hand, left hand to the knee. You can always just twist straight over to the left leg, or for more intensity, lift the hips first, twist, then sink back down. Tighten the right seat muscle, lengthen the right side, breathe into the right side deeply. And then on exhale, placing hands, step back and plank. Pull the abs in tight and lengthen. Chest forward, hips and heels back. Inhale. Exhaling softly, lower the knees and hips back toward heels, elbows and forehead all the way down. Now press into your palms, lift your elbows up, and let their shoulder blades squeeze together. Keep as strong of a contraction there as you're comfortable with, breathing into the belly, and know that that is your rhomboid muscle contraction. But on this next exhale, push your elbows straight down and lift your spine, the space between the shoulder blades up. And keep the elbows pushing as you keep lifting up. Breathe into the upper back, the serratus anterior active space. And then on this exhale, we come forward to upward dog. Shoulders travel forward to the wrist. The collarbones lift as we sink down the hips. Press the hands and top of the foot evenly. Collarbones lift up. Inhale. And then exhale back. Downward dog. Lift hips and push the chest toward the thighs. Flatten the palms evenly. Thumbs pulling toward the feet. Head between the arms. Balance the ball of the foot and lift the heels. Bend the knees and lift the hips. Chest pushing toward our thighs. We're going to pull the shoulders toward hips. Press the hands and elbows toward each other. Make it wide between the shoulder blades. And we can shift the weight to the right foot. Either lift the left foot up or stretch the left leg all the way up. Deep breath. Exhale, the left foot coming down. Shifting weight to the left foot. Lift the right foot up. Or stretch the right leg all the way up. Deep inhale. Exhale, right foot coming down. Now we're stepping right foot forward, left knee down. But you could bring the left knee down first if that made it more comfortable for you. And in our low lunge, we rest the top of the foot down. Left hand even pressure, right hand to the knee. Either twist straight over or lift the hips, twist, and then sink down. Tighten the left seat muscle. Lengthen the left side. Breathe in the left side deeply. And then on exhale, we step forward, our feet hip distance. Press down the heels, bend the knees, belly tight. We inhale up from the squat. And we exhale. And that is great. Okay, so we're warmed up. Let's appreciate the warmed up body. Let's take our feet wide, bend the knees a little, lift up until the heel of the palm is in the crease of the leg and tilt. Right side. Begin to straighten the arm. Maybe it's easier to straighten. Maybe you get the arm even more straight. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, the elbow bends, and then the left side, we push. We may notice that we're a little looser. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, the elbow bends, and now both sides. We push, we decompress, we traction that spine. Take a deep breath. And then exhale and bend the elbows and bend the knees and come up from that. So long spine, absolutely what we want. And I hope that you're remembering some of these things that we do to elongate the spine and doing them throughout your day so that we reduce the pressure overall to the structure of the spine, which is sort of the superhighway of the way the brain conducts business with the body. And there's layer upon layer of muscles, and some of the very deepest ones can cause trouble. And so this week I've been working on a muscle that is a known issue, and it's such a known issue that you might have heard its name before. It's called quadratus lumborum, and it's right here in the back, but it's very, very deep. So we've got some surface muscle right here. This would be our obliques, and then we got layer after layer of muscles that you know, extend us backward. But this is a muscle that's like a grid, and it tilts us side to side, and it does extend us backward, and it creates twisting actions too. Quadratus lumborum is its name, or the QL, people will know it of. And it can be very weak, and it can get into all sorts of trouble. So first we're going to work it in a way that stretches it, but we're going to be very kind and gentle to it, because if you're having any issues with it, you want to make sure that what we're doing is not going to overwhelm you. So let's start with our feet a little wider than our hips, about shoulder distance wide, so that we can't really go very far to the left or right. We can go a little bit, but not very far to the left or right with our hips. And the first thing we're going to do is just going to press out our feet. We're going to repeat the action that we did earlier with a side tilt. Now we are going to make our spine long, left lift. We are going to pull in our core, but on one side I'm putting my hand against the leg, and I'm just going to tilt a little bit that way, keeping the other hand down. Then I'm going to come up and I'm going to tilt a little bit the other way. Now if this is causing you to feel like, uh-oh, you know, something bad is happening, obviously I don't want you to do this. Lighten it up, don't go as far. And certainly don't do any of the other things that we might do that could be more provocative. Okay. But now the next time you go to one side and you're ready for it, you tilt to the side and you just halt right there. And I want you to take the other arm and lift it upward. And I just want you to lift up the chest a little bit and then let it relax. Now the pelvis stays in the center, and you're going to do it again. You could just have it, just the chest lifting up. The arm doesn't have to be all the way up there. And let it relax. And then we're going to do it again. We're going to lift it up. And we're going to let it relax. Now to come out, we're going to lift up strongly to bring ourselves out. Okay, so that movement is the movement, the action, the contraction, as we are in that elongated muscle. All right, now the other side. So my chest is up, my core is in, and I tilt. Now once I'm in that position, I take the other arm, I stretch it up or I just bend it, and I lift up and I come down. My pelvis stays centered. Now what you might be noticing is that you might release a little bit more. You might go a little bit lower after each lift. We don't do too many because we're still checking things out. Okay, and the next time, we're just going to lift ourselves all the way up and out. All right, so that's sort of the checkup on this to make sure that we are not having trouble with this. But if we can move the hips from side to side, we get a little bit more action. So right now, I want us to pivot the hips to one side, pivot the hips to the other side. So we're going back and forth across our body. And of course, this side's getting shorter and this side's getting longer. Okay. Now, the next time I'm ready for it, I have the leg that's more off to the side. I'm pivoted here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to push my hand into this long side. I'm going to begin to tilt a little. And I'm going to take the other arm up. And once again, with that hip pivoted out, I'm going to lift a little bit and come down. And a second time. And once again. Okay. And then we lift strongly to bring ourselves completely up and out of it. All right. Now we move the hip to the other side. Could be very different one side to the other. Now my hand is on that leg, not the pivoted outside. We tilt a little bit and we take the other arm up and we lift a little and we sink. You're measuring out the amount of lift, the amount of sinking. Good. And then this time we bring ourselves all the way up and out. Now the thing about this muscle that we're working with is it's a grid. And it has fibers that are in different directions because it's a very three-dimensional thing in our body. So we're going to change the angle and we're going to use a position that's similar to our triangle pose. So there's going to be an ever so slight twisting phenomenon. So I'm going to change my leg position. I'm going to stand with my feet hip distance and step the right leg back. Now, I'm not putting one foot directly behind the other foot. I'm out on the edges of my mat with my right foot, toes pointed at about a 45-degree angle. And normally I have us turn our pelvis to the front edge of the mat. But today I want us to pull our pelvis backwards. So the pelvis is sort of at a 45-degree angle to the front edge of the mat. Now as we hold this, it's a comfortable position, it's not extreme. We elongate and left knee, we bend. And we're going to put our left hand on our left knee. So we're nicely braced here. You can probably feel that you could stay here for a little bit of time. But that right side of the pelvis sort of kicked back a little bit. And I want us to take our right arm up into the air. And we're just going to pull the chest a little bit and then let it sink. And we'll do it again. Pull up a little and let it sink. Now keep your breathing deep. So inhale and exhale. Great. Now I'm going to come all the way out. So I'm going to pull up, bend the knees, and bring myself completely up. Okay. We'll do side two. So we're going to take the left leg, step it backward, and we're wide on our mat. The left foot's turned about 45 degrees. And instead of the pelvis facing the front edge, we push that pelvis back. We send it backward. Okay. So we lengthen our spine, we tilt a little, and we bend the right knee. Right hand coming onto the knee. You should feel pretty comfortably stationed in this. Left shoulder above the right shoulder. And then we're going to take that left arm up in the air, and we're going to lift a little bit. And release. And again, if you would rather exhale on the way up and inhale on the way down, that's fine. And then just one more, we'll come all the way out. Bend the knees to help you just so you bring your body underneath you so there's no excessive strain. Now, these are relatively light versions. I'm going to give you the option of continuing with the relatively light version, but because it's an all-level class, I'm going to give it a slightly greater amount of intensity. And if your back is already saying, I'm so tired, I don't want to do it anymore, stop, just watch. Or if you want, you say, I'm warmed up now, I want to find my limits. Do pay attention to what your body wants to stop at. So let's step the right leg back. We get wide on the mat, right foot turn 45. We pull the pelvis back on that right side. We elongate, thighs tight, we tilt forward, but we bend that left knee. And here's the thing, the hand can stay on the knee, the elbow can go to the knee, the hand can come down the leg. So these are all potential positions of drift downward, okay? So I'm going to take my right arm up, I'm going to lift up, and I'm going to sink, and I'm going to see maybe I can go a little lower, and I'll lift, and maybe I can go a little lower, and I'll lift. Now I can lift up completely and come down completely, or I can just do that from the elbow level, or I can do that from the straight arm level, okay? So you're finding which level you want to work with. And each time you pull up the upper body, you're using that lovely quadratus lumborum muscle to create your lift. All right. Now this time as we bring ourselves up, we're going to bend our knees, crouching underneath ourselves so that we can easily exit that pose. Very nice. Let's do one more side. So now we're going to take left leg, stepping it backward, pulling the left side of the pelvis back a bit. Thighs nice and tight, spine long. we tilt forward, bending that right knee and deciding that we could do it hand to knee or elbow to knee or hand down the leg. You know, it's whatever we feel is good. Take that left arm up. We're going to lift up. You could just come down, or you can come down to the elbow, pulling upward, come down the leg. You limit the lift to what's comfortable. You can come all the way up. Or you can do that from the elbow line. Or you could do that from the straight arm line. And so everything is just comfortable, the level that you are comfortable with. And the next time you lift up, then bend the knees underneath you and come out of that position. So we may feel fatigued right in this lower back region. We should not feel that we've done ourselves a disservice. And so that's, you got to meter out your intensity level in order to take care of that. But taking care of this deep muscle structure is really important because it's not a movement that we typically make. All right, very good. Let's go ahead and sit. And you can sit your hips up on a bolster or a block or something like that. We are going to release a bit in our shoulder region. Got a couch cushion that makes a nice seated position. So we did all this with our back. We're not quite through with the back. We're going to do another thing that's going to take care of it. But for right now, we're going to take care of the shoulder region. And so as we sit, we uplift our chest. Legs can be any comfortable position that allows you good posture. Let's start to roll our shoulders a bit. So we're noticing some areas of the shoulder that might be tight or tense. We roll one way, we'll roll our shoulders the other way. Again, you might feel it all the way into the neck, into the upper or lower back. We're going to inwardly rotate and outwardly rotate our shoulders so that we receive a lot of information and we specifically warm up the edges. And then we're going to release entrapment. We're going to make sure that our body can get rid of some things. We'll bring our hand across. We'll put our hand to the elbow. Now, I want you to make as big of a comfortable circle across and up and around and down. And because our hand is there on our elbow, we're able to actually create a much larger range of motion. And there might be some crunchiness going on there. Let's reverse our circle. The sound of noise in a joint is typically associated with an imbalance to the muscle strengths and lengths. And that's what we're trying to take care of. It could be that there's some things that are rough in there that we're getting rid of, like sandpaper, if we would. Taking the other hand across the other side, and that hand, elbow to hand, I'm going to make my circle, big circle. And if you've ever had an injury in your shoulder, welcome to the majority club. And you are dealing with the reactions and responses of your body to that injury. It takes a long time and a lot of dedicated effort, let's go the other way, to get rid of an injury so that it's no longer plaguing us. And so we're in for years of rehab, not all of it the same amount. So this final stages is when we really got to refine some things. And that's what we're doing with this. Let's make some more refinement. Let's put our hand to our shoulder. Now, this also would protect us from getting an injury. So if you're of the few who have never had an injury, good news, this will help. I'm going to actively lift my elbow up. And now that it's lifted, I say, that's as far as it's going to go. But no, actually, you can go further. I'm going to stretch my arm up and take a deep breath. And then exhale. So that's called active versus passive range of motion. So I'm going to actively lower my shoulder, but my passive range of motion, when I can pull it down, is a lot more than my muscles can bring it to. Okay, and we'll do that again. We'll lift up, and then we will stretch up. Inhale. Exhale it. We're going to lower, and then we'll stretch, pull down, and inhale. And then we exhale and we let it go. Okay, now the second side, hand across. So we lift up. And it's like I can't go any further. And then I stretch up, and it turns out, yes, I can. Inhale. Exhale, release. And then we're going to lower. We're going to give it a nice little gentle further lowering. Inhale. Great. And again, lift up and then stretch. Breath in. Release.
lower, and then stretch. Nice deep breath. And then we release. Okay, that's good. But I'm after all sections because there's so many muscles involved. I want to get the back edges of the shoulder in several different angles, and this does relate a little bit to the low back region. I'm going to take a hand across the shoulder, and this elbow is going to stay low. I'm going to reach it across me relatively low, and then my other arm is going to pull, and what a delicious sensation of stretch there near the shoulder blade. Inhale. Exhale, we let it go. But we're going to change the angle as we do this repeatedly. We're going to come up a little higher. We're going to reach across, stay about level to the floor, and we're going to pull with about the level of the full pull. Be gentle on your pull. Inhale. Exhale, release it. And then we're going to try and get a different angle. So we're going to lift the elbow. We're going to reach with a slightly upward reach, and then we're going to pull with a slightly upward pull. Deep inhale. And then we exhale, and we let all of that go. All right, now we'll do the other side. Hand to the shoulder. This one's the low one. Reach low and then pull with a slight downward pull. Exhale. And then come up to about level. And reach across and stay about level as you pull. And this one's higher. Lift up and then stretch. Reach up and then stretch with an upward pull. Inhale. Exhale. And that leaves the back to activate so we can pull these shoulders back because they go forward far too much in life. And it also, before we work with the shoulders, let's talk about retracting the chin. So I want you to place your hands in the very back of your neck region so you're below the skull but above the shoulders. And with your hands right there, with your chin staying level, I just want you to let the head move back ever so slightly, and you're going to feel some interesting sensations. And you'll notice that the curve in your neck increases. Now, we're not tucking our chin, which would flatten our neck. We're not lifting our chin. We are just pulling as straight back as we can so the chin is completely level. Try it a couple of times and make sure that your body wants to do that. And then release and point your palms at the floor, out to the sides of you. Pull up the chest. Lower down the shoulders and just lower your arms back and notice the tension in the front of your chest. Take a deep breath. Exhale. Relax. Turn the palms up. Lift up the chest, chin level, lower the shoulders, and just let the arms come back. Just find where you're tight. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, release. Okay. Now, we'll start again, but we'll do it a little differently. Palms are turned down. Lift the chest, lower the shoulders, chin level. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Keep them squeezing. Lower each shoulder down a little bit more, but keep the shoulder blades squeezed together. Now, let your chin pull back just a little bit, chin level. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Release that. A lot of sensation. Turn the arms up. Okay. Chest up, shoulders down, chin level. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Each shoulder is lowered just a little bit more, but the shoulder blades are squeezing together. The chin is level. And we pull, retracting that chin just straight back for a moment. Take a deep inhale. And then exhale. Let it all go. Very good. Okay, so we sort of reset up here. Now, got a little bit more work to do to make the back even a better place to live in. So let's come into a seated twist position. So I take you off any bolster or block that you're on and have your legs spread wide. And we're going to elongate. We're going to lengthen, elongating our back. And we're going to let our legs tilt to the left. So the outside of the left leg comes down and the inside of the right leg comes down. And so we're in this zigzag pattern with our legs. Our left arm is beside us. We move a little further away. We pull, and we put our right hand to our knee, and we twist, and we find out, do we want to go further? You could just stay in this position if your back was a little troubled, or bring your hands around and onto the floor, pulling toward the fingers and walking the hands away until you can bring your left elbow down. You want a very long left side of the body when the elbow comes down, and you want to pull along that left side. And interestingly enough, the more we pull along the left side, usually it's the right side that feels the stretch. Now I'm going to walk my right hand forward. Some people are able to bring the right elbow down, but a lot are not. So just stay comfortable. and stretch your right leg straight behind you. Now, gently pull toward your fingers, and with your right ankle, reach it further away from the hip. Take an inhale, and then exhale, just relax your effort. So now we're using the leg to create the action in our QL muscle. Again, reaching the right ankle away, we take a deep inhale, exhale, release. We're still pulling our chest toward those fingers. And once more, right leg reaching away, deep inhale. And exhale. We're going to bend that right knee. We're going to push ourselves back upright, walk the hands toward the body until we're again seated and have our feet wide on the mat, arms behind us, elongating, breathing. And now the legs are going to the right, outside of the right leg down, inside of the left leg down, legs in a zigzag. Right hand beside us, pulling us, left hand to the knee. We pivot that left shoulder, we just get a light amount of twist, breathing. Find out if you want to go further. And if you do, both hands onto the mat, walk them away from the body enough that you can bring the right elbow down under the shoulder, very long along that right side. You can walk the left hand more forward, pulling along the right side especially. The left side begins to stretch. And we're just straightening the left leg out there. As we pull toward the fingers, we reach that left leg back into the stretch. Inhale. Exhale, relax. Pull toward the fingers, left leg reaches back. Inhale. Exhale, relax. Pull toward the fingers, stretch that left leg back. Inhale. Exhale, relax, and bend the left knee. And push yourself upright, walking hands toward the body. Good. All right. Let's come onto our back. We've got some nice final touches for us on the back. Here we go. Okay. So we're doing this action that involves the low back region, and any time we work with the low back, pre-existing conditions that we have can make things a little troublesome. Just right now, as you're on your back, your feet on the floor, please. Feet and knees hip distance wide, arms out to the side. I want you to shorten the left side, pelvis moving toward the rib cage. And I want you to shorten the right side, pelvis moving toward the rib cage. And this little sort of shimmy effect, this little action right now, is indeed using that deep muscle. So we're creating this little bit. You'll notice as you shorten the right side, the left knee projects a little forward. As you shorten the left side, the right knee projects a little forward. Bringing your attention to that because we're going to create a little bit of a twist that uses this action. But to start, the twist is very simple. I have my feet and knees about hip distance. I just rock to the right a little bit, and I let the left side of the pelvis come upward. And then I rock to the left a little bit, and I let the right side of the pelvis come upward. And there my legs are sort of folding. As I go to the right, the left knee projects a little more forward. And as I go to the left, the right knee projects a little more forward. Right, so we're back and forth with a little bit of twist. And this is a very reasonable level because you can limit it so easily. And I want you to always limit to what feels comfortable. But to create just sort of a little bit more, I'm going to step my feet close together. So my feet and knees are actually touching each other. Arms out to the side. Now I'm going to tilt to the left. And while I'm at the left side, I'm just going to reach my right knee more forward, moving my right knee a little further away and stretching this right side just a little bit more. And then I come back to center. Now I'm tilting toward the right, and I'm using that left knee. I'm just going to reach it. I'm going to project it forward so that it stretches along this left side just a little bit. Take a breath before you come back. And you could widen the legs out and do less, or you could just continue. A little bit of that reach effect. Yeah, we're unweighting the spine. We're giving ourselves a little bit more in that region, just a little polishing cloth, if you would. And then that's very good. Now come to center and bring the knees into the chest. Allow your back to completely flatten. Okay. Now take your hands to your knees. All right. Hands to the top of the knee region. Okay. Over this top near the shin. And what we're going to do is we're going to press our back gently down and move our knees away from us with the arms
holding onto the legs. Eventually the elbows will go straight. And if you keep moving the legs away, eventually you'll get a little bit of a stretch in the shoulder region. So create as much stretch as you like and take a deep breath. And then exhale and relax the knees close in. We'll do it again with his hands right on these knees. And then we'll stretch the legs away from us, arms straightening out. Take a deep breath. Exhale, relax the knees back in. Now, this might be the best position for you to hold, but you might be able to link your fingers together. So you might be able just to clasp your fingers toward each other and hold a little bit different place, a little lower on the shins there. Now, holding fingers to fingers, and you begin to push your back down into the floor, reach the legs away, and a slightly different angle is happening in that neck to shoulder region as you stretch, those elbows going straight or the shoulders being stretched. Take a deep breath. Exhale, release it. We'll do it a second time. If you want, you could clasp which hands, holding which. And then begin with your hands staying together, pushing the legs away from you, having the back flattened, stretching the shoulders and the neck. Take a deep breath. Exhale, release. Now, some might still just be holding here. You might say, no, I can grab my fingers together. And if you will be able to grab hand to the wrist, so if you can grab the hand to the wrist line, you can position a little differently. It's going to change the ankle slightly. And so again, we flatten the back, we push into the legs, and we stretch. Don't worry if you can't hold on to the wrist, just hold on to something. And take a deep breath. Exhale, relax. If you are holding a wrist, you'll switch which hand is holding which. And then again, back flattening, pushing legs into the arms, stretching the shoulder region. Take a deep breath. Exhale and let all that go. Okay. Hold on to your right leg. Let your left leg stretch out completely straight. You're reaching the left leg away. You're pressing the back of the left leg down. You're trying to open up the front of that left hip with your actions. We're going to put our hands into the back of the right leg and ever so lightly straighten the leg. So the back of the leg is stretching as the front of the left leg is stretching. Breathing deep. And we're going to take our arms out to the side, press down the shoulders, reach the left leg, bend the right knee a little more so it's less intense at first, and bring the right leg across the body. Lift the right side of the pelvis above the left side, keeping the right shoulder down. You can bend the knee more. You can move the knee closer to the chest or further away from the chest. You can straighten the leg more. Shoulders pressing. Press down that left leg. Adjust the right leg to a comfortable stretch. Turn the head to the right if you like. Shoulders pressing, left leg pushing, right leg comfortable. Take a deep breath. Exhale, return the head to center. Bend the right leg, bring it to center. And let's switch this up. Bring the left leg in. Hold it close and stretch the right leg out. Reaching the right ankle away, pushing down the back of the right knee so that we can open up the front of that right hip. Breathing deeply. And now we're going to place our hands in the back of the left leg so that we can straighten the left leg a little bit, receive a stretch in the back of the leg. Right ankle still reaching away, right leg is still pushing down, especially the back of the knee. Breathing deep. Exhale, relaxing the arms out to the side, push down the shoulders, bend the left knee a little bit, stretch that right leg, and bring the left leg across the body slowly. Lift the left side of the pelvis up, bend the right knee more, move the knee closer or further away from the chest, straighten the right leg more. It's just you setting this up just right. Press down the right leg, left leg is adjusted, head can turn toward the left. Take some deep breaths. And then on your next exhale, bending the left knee, returning the head to center, bringing the left leg back to center. Once again, legs out, nice and wide on the mat. Start this rocking from side to side with the wide leg position. Opening the front of the hip, breathing deeply. Good. Bring the feet a little closer and tilt your knees as completely to the left as you can go. If they can come down to the floor, they may be uneven, but we let that happen. And this might cause the right shoulder to lift up. And if it did, we're just going to press a little and move our body slightly to the left so the right shoulder can come down. So we got our legs to the left. I want us to lift the left arm up toward the ceiling and turn the head toward the right, and then bring the left arm across to the right. So the arms are reaching to the right and the legs are to the left, and we're in the wind blowing position. Just breathe in and out deeply. Just let the body sink in, let things soften, just if it's too intense. And then on your next exhale, the left arm lifts up, the head returns to center. We bring the left arm completely across, and we bring the legs back to the center. Adjust the body comfortably to get back to center. And then legs going to the right. We want the legs to go as completely down, even though they'll be uneven, all the way down. And it might pull our left shoulder off, and if it did, we'll just press our arms down and move the chest a little bit to the right until the left shoulder can come down again. Breathing deeply, lift up the right arm, turn the head to the left, and bring the right arm across the body toward that left side, a little wind-blown stretch. Arms reaching to the left, legs are to the right. Breathing deeply, just try and relax, adjust if anything seems overly intense. Breathing deeply. And on your next exhale, bring the right arm up, return the head to center, bring the legs back to center as the right arm comes off to the side. And then stretch yourself out, straightening up on the mat. Legs stretched out straight. Let your arms either be out to the side, or if you're comfortable with it, a little more angled toward the head, or maybe just right in line between the shoulders and the hip. It's up to you what's the most comfortable position. I want us to lengthen the right side a little bit. Reach the ankle away from the hip, and if you're comfortable, reach the right wrist away. Take a breath. Exhale, relax, and then reach the left ankle away from hip, left wrist away from hip. Keep comfortable, take a breath. Exhale, relax. We can sort of do that little shimmy from side to side, a little bit, a little bit. It's best to do this in just tiny little sips, nothing extreme. And then let that relax, returning the arms to a position where they're angled out to the sides, a little below the shoulders. Adjusting the shoulders, walk them toward the hips a bit, and broaden the back of the chest, inside of the elbows and palms facing up. Flatten the back a little, arch the back a little, and then turn the hips in and out until you feel that you're just right on the floor, chin right in the center of that jaw. Exhale completely, and as you start the breath in, softly make fists, tighten the feet, bring contractions all the way into the shoulders, all the way into the hips, pull in the belly, tighten the chest, squeeze the face, inhale completely. Everything's contracting. Exhale and go soft and go limp. And go just sink into that floor. And one of the hardest things for us to ever do is just to let go. And that's what I want you to focus on right now. Just let go. Breathe into the belly, into the sides, into the low back and upper back. So you're filling up with air. And every exhale, long and slowly delivered, you're letting go. You're just going soft. And I want you to feel that you could sink into this floor, that what's heavy within you, only structures of your body, that sink down more firmly. That what is light within you will float to the top. And there you are in the mix of all between what is light and what is heavy. Every breath just a little more relaxed.
Every exhale, just a little more heavy and released. And just notice what you feel and where you feel it. You won't stop feeling things. You'll hear sounds. Your mind will think thoughts. You're just in a moment, a sustained here and now. So that time stretches outward and becomes a little less meaningful because we're just right here, right now. That's our goal, just be in this one moment, this one time. And it's so seldom that we actually pause like this, that we get a little nervous when we do it. We're not sure how to completely rest and relax, but let's give it our best shot now. And when you feel it's the right time to do so, begin to breathe more deeply. Let your body move a little bit until you like to stretch. Stretch in whatever way you'd like to, for as long as you would like to stretch. When you must, you roll to your side so you don't sit straight upward, and just check in with yourself. See what you feel, where you feel it. If there are questions, if there's something in the class that you want me to go over, explain a little more, you can always do it now, or you can always ask me in an email or a phone call or a text. Excellent work, everyone.